Okay. Alrighty, that sounds great, Ms. D. I apologize. Something is going on with Twitter slash X or whatever the hell you're going to call it these days. I was in there trying to set up for posting, and I get nothing is available. Something went wrong. Please reload. So I refreshed the website, and it says "Welcome to X," and it's like, wait, what? And then I see someone had posted, what the heck's going on? I'm like, I'm going through it too. This is insane. Um, oh, hi, Four Corners. D should be here. When she gets here, I don't know exactly when that'll be. Fingers crossed it'll be soon because I feel like a dingbat sometimes when I do these on my own. Um, I've never been good as solo work. Um, I apologize. I am still wheezy, congested, a little bit icky, under the weather stuff, allergies and all that, the typical. Um, so that is going on today. Oh god. And be patient with me for the yawning. Um, I have not had caffeine today. I need to force people to go get caffeine from the store or see if my daughter will make me some hot chocolate of some sort. Um, that was weird. Okay, I just swear I heard someone come through my Bluetooth, and it wasn't me. That was really weird. Well, I guess the ghost is trying to make itself known again. Um, sorry. Oh my god. So today, I wanted to. Well, when D gets in, she'll be here too. But we're gonna wrap up the last of the update things that we haven't done, like for the entire 2 weeks. The ones that got missed got put to the side. Today's the clean out the file day. So the first thing we have in line is a video that was sent by D. Um, it is a body language expert explaining what the meeting between Trump and the dude from Iran or Saudi Arabia, whatever country that is, um, their meetings. So let me hit play, and hopefully D will be home very shortly because my brain and all. So let's hit play, see what they say.
We should give some kind of background, and the background is some kind of what has happened in the past. And in the past, well, you know that when it came to Biden, Biden was not, let's say, greeted in the same.
Oh, am I in?
Yeah, I thought you were on your way
I
home. You're not
am. I'm
here.
sitting in the car in the parking lot waiting to get some things from the drugstore. I sent
Oh,
EJ in. So I'm probably going to break up, but I could participate as best I can off of my cell phone,
okay, that
or I could
works.
or I could let you go solo. It's up to you.
Oh no, I was just wondering how. I thought you said you weren't going to be able to because of Wi-Fi or reception or something. So well,
That's
we'll
what's
wait.
going to happen. Probably I'm going to dip. There's spots that the signal goes out. Well,
Mm-hmm.
this could be a test.
Yes.
Welcome, everybody. As JJ likes to hear me say, it'll be please hold one moment as we are doing testing today to see how the programming works using a cell phone. This will be the first test for Rect Sisters trying to go live on a cell phone. So I think that should be an interesting thing. I know for sure once
Just
I
more
get into the
technical difficulties.
Yes, we will be experiencing technical difficulties once I hit the back roads. But I will stay on as long as possible. I expect it to be at least 20 to 25 minutes. So we should be
Okay.
back by 3:30, and here comes EJ now. So he's probably gonna
Say don't sell
hold on.
cans in there.
Of course, we're live, so watch what you say. Come up,
I
plus,
don't.
yes. Say hello. Say hello to the chat.
No shit.
That that's Crazy B from Kentucky. Oh,
Hello.
I got licorice and a Coca-Cola.
Ooh, good lunch.
That'll work. Thank you, Eric. All right, so we're on our way home. So we got the body language expert up.
Yep, for the Trump
Okay.
meeting with what's his face over in the Middle
Yeah, you know
East.
what we need to do, what I forgot to ask you to poll was if body language expert did anything on that meeting with the president from South Africa that went awry.
He actually, I watched a video of his this morning, and he said yes, he was working on it, and it would be out the next day. So it should be today or tomorrow.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, because I'd like to see what he has to say about that.
Oh yeah, I do too. I have my own
I think
opinions
I
about
think
that.
we kind of yeah, I think we kind of know what he's going to say, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go ahead and get started, and if I dip out, I'll try to dip back in. And again,
Okay.
today is testing on whether or not a cell phone will conduct programming for us. So we shall
I can
see.
tell you it does conduct programming, but you go techno quite frequently.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see what
Yep.
happens. I don't know if I'll stay in the studio and pop, like, I don't know, will it pop me back in? Like, will I stay in there and just
No,
the,
you're gonna have to leave
or
and
will
then
I
come
get
back
completely
to do the
split,
resyncing.
come back in?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll see how many times that happens. It's going to be an
Okay.
interesting one. All right, go ahead.
We should give some kind of background, and the background is some kind of what has happened in the past. And in the past, well, you know that when it came to Biden, Biden was not, let's say, greeted in the same heartfelt way as Trump is being greeted right now. RT, when Biden visited Saudi Arabia, he was greeted at AF1 by the governor of Mecca. When Trump flew, he was greeted by the crown prince on the tarmac itself. That was awesome. And also, when Biden visited Saudi Arabia, the crown prince made him come to him. No welcome, no respect, just an
Crazy
awkward
B,
fist bump. Today, he broke protocol to meet Trump on
Yes.
that is at what, 1.5 speed?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted the
Otherwise,
audience to, yeah, I don't know if you mentioned that or not. I didn't hear it. I just want
oh
them to know that, yeah, he doesn't talk like that in real life.
no, it's normally slower, and this would have been a 20-minute video.
Oh, how
Yep.
much did you get it cut down to?
9 minutes and 32 seconds.
You go, girl. Go ahead.
on the tarmac. That speaks volumes. That is the context of what we are looking at. Also, the images speak for themselves. Both the time that Biden arrived, okay, and when Trump arrived. It's a very different scenario. Another part of the context is that Trump was driven around the birthplace of Saudi Arabia by the crown prince himself. All right, it's like he got a nice trip, and there's this cozy little mini car around. It was nice to see. If all right, there they go. And the White House, in fact, tweeted this: "A great day in Saudi Arabia." Trump's words. I think it's time to before this is the last thing before we address the handshake, because this is really important. When he finished his speech, I need to take this into consideration, because this is a huge thing. This is a big thing in terms of power. Eric Doherty, Trump just walked out to Lee Greenwood's "God Bless the United States" in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. He played the entire song, and all the Saudis remain standing. The world knows we are in a golden age. You know that song, "God Bless the USA." I'm gonna play it, just a clip with a bit of a speed up, but they played the entire song. It was 2 minutes and a half, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, 2 minutes and 30 seconds of just Trump being there. All the people at that meeting that just watching him, and he was just standing there, and this song of "God Bless the USA," as in, I have not seen, this is not a hyperbole, or I'm not joking, I have not seen such a display of power in some time. This is remarkable even for Trump. And one thing that is important, one question that I myself ask myself, sometimes I'm in engagements and I'm just there. I'm gonna okay, this shot is much better to illustrate my point. That sometimes a gentleman ask me, what do I do with my hands if you say that I cannot put them in my pockets? No, that is not maybe not the way to look powerful. I cannot cross my arms. What do I do with my hands? Well, this is very easy. Just remember what Trump did while he was making all the Saudis and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia to listen to God Bless the USA in its entirety. He was just standing there with his hands to his sides. It's that simple. You don't have to do anything else. Oh, should I don't know, put one hand of my pocket or maybe one thumb in my pocket? No, you just leave them to your sides. Oh, but I feel awkward. Well, you have to get used to that. Yeah, it's something that you don't have to do anything else. Okay, it's that simple. Well, we are ready to move onto the handshake. Where's the handshake? Here's the handshake. And the handshake begins with this. Okay, this is the first moment we saw that handshake was in two stages. First, they were the Crown Prince was greeting him right in front of the stage, in the center of the stage, and they walked a bit to one side to take pictures of the official handshake. So this was before the official handshake. We can see a couple things here. Of course, their bodies are not completely towards each other because they have to be like facing the public, the audience at the same time. This is important. Notice that Trump's non-handshake hand is tapping him on the shoulder in a very friendly way. And at the same time, on the handshake, this angle, it's a bit hard to see the handshake, but we see the Crown Prince's non-handshake hand, the left hand, doing that tap on top that Trump has done so many times as well with other world leaders. Some people say that, oh, that is a bit of controlling or condescending. It all depends. Of course, it's not just one signal in body language. You have to take into account many other signals, including, but not limited to, posture, and of course, how do they look at each other and how do they lean into each other, and both of them have their heads tilted just one bit. That is important because that means that they are in sync. So it's like they're measuring their power, and notice how Trump does something in which he hunches a bit. Trump is hunching a bit and leaning into the Crown Prince, but at the same time, he puts his hand over his shoulder. There's a big difference in here. I've told you many times that it's not the same that tapping somebody's shoulder on the side like this. It's like you tap somebody, all right? See, I got lost. Okay. Right here, okay? Then putting the hand on the shoulder, over the shoulder. That is a very difference. There's a huge...
Yes.
Okay, so a couple notations to make on there was for Trump to go and meet with the Crown Prince who actually met him on the tarmac, and to see the pomp and circumstance that they did for him compared to whoever they just sent
It was Biden who had
yeah,
originally, they compared him to
exactly.
Biden's.
Correct. When Biden went, they just had like an average official just go and meet him. So the Crown Prince himself actually drove Trump around. And in
Someone's
addition,
kissing ass.
and Trump, to put his hand on the Crown Prince, that is significant.
Yes.
So nobody
That can get you
touches.
killed.
Yeah, nobody usually puts their hands on him without having their hand chopped off or their head chopped off. Hey, JJ.
Art added a comment too. Sorry. Oh my God. Art goes, the difference in world leaders, the difference is world leaders have learned to flatter Trump, learn that flattering Trump is how, which is how you get him to like you. Not sure that's a good thing. Well, it could be genuine. It might actually be genuine, not just hollow words to get their way. And hi,
And
JJ.
yeah, and doesn't everybody react in certain ways to get what they want? I mean, when you meet a world leader, if you haven't done your homework and haven't checked them out and know their reactions and how to act towards them, you'd be greatly remiss. If I was going over to Saudi Arabia and Qatar and the rest of the Middle East, if you don't think that I'd know what the Crown Prince was like and have a background on him and pump him up a little bit, you'd be mistaken, because there are things that I want. So if that would entail a handshake or, a hand on a shoulder, you can be sure I'm going to do that if I'm going to get billions of dollars in some government contract. Call it what you want, but that's reality. I mean,
Uh,
that's no different than, having
Trying to get
your
a raise from your boss.
exactly, or have your child, take the rubbish out and I don't know, in response to something. But I think it's
It's kind of a
important.
learned behavior in society.
Hmm. And yes, Trump is that all, you know, television
He's all
personality.
ego.
Yeah, he's got that big ego, and so they were going to meet him with a big ego. If you think Trump would have settled for that little official that they brought out for Biden, that never would have flew, I don't think. So, but I'm saying that I think it's a huge attestament to the Saudis for the crown prince himself to come out and do what he did because that's very unheard of.
It shows that they're willing to work with us, that they do
Right,
see us as an equal on the
right.
playing field, and they do take it seriously. And yeah, they're kissing ass because they
They
want
want from us.
something.
Yeah, they want the arms from us. All right, I'm heading in down to the back road. So if I lose you,
Okay.
Crazy Bee, I'm just going to stay out until I get home. Okay?
Okay. And
All right.
it says, are added, yes, but Trump seems to respond to flattery where others don't seem to do that um, as much, which may not be America first. I mean, it's not exactly Saudi Arabia first to kiss someone's ass, especially when you're the prince. I mean, and again, people look. I mean, look what they did to Joe Biden for the last 4 years too. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
No,
everybody
what?
flattered him
Yeah,
on all kinds of levels, even though they all knew he wasn't okay in the head and he was sick. I
that's
mean,
right. And he was incompetent. What do you call that?
I think every president has been given the whole flattery thing.
They are because in order to be a leader, there has to be somewhat of a egotistical or narcissistic. They do have that somewhat of that. If not, I don't think that's my opinion on that.
I'm
But
not sure how well you can hear us, but you are completely techno. Uh
yeah,
oh. I
go
have no
ahead.
clue what was just said. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and hit play until I don't know whatever happens. Let's go from there.
Difference in there, especially because this is more a dominant gesture. All right. If maybe you have felt that when somebody puts a hand on your over your shoulder, you feel that that is a dominant gesture. Again, it depends on the attitude of the person who is doing that to you, but it is a dominant gesture. It is in principle. Meanwhile, you see that the hand that is tapping the handshake, the hand of the crown prince, is rather relaxed. So they are both in this. Let's say it's not a tug of war, but this is a very interesting dynamic in which both of them are projecting that power, but they are toning down a bit at the same time. I think they like each other, but when you're going to go for the handshake, you want to project power at the same time. You want to project power not only with your guest and your host, but with your people as well. You know the world's going to be watching this. This is important. But they make sure to keep eye contact. The crown prince keeps talking to him. You see some illustrator gestures, and it's like, consider it done. Don't worry about any of it. And Trump does the hand on shoulder again. Okay, again, I'm telling you that is quite a dominant gesture. Now we just lost track of them, but then they walk for the official handshake. This is it. This is what we came here for. And when they are going for it, you notice that Trump is basically looking at the audience, and the crown prince is looking at him. This is the right way to offer him. Usually, when you're visiting, you have to wait until the host offers their hand. In this case, the crown prince is offering his hand, so he has the advantage of being able to look at Trump, and Trump reacts. And one thing that is usually, you have to understand that um, the one who stands to, let's imagine that you're gonna give this handshake with somebody, and you have the option to choose on which side you're going to be. It's you're gonna always gonna look more relaxed, more powerful if you are in this case on the right side where the crown prince is. You can see you can open your chest. You can even let's say separate your hand a bit. You look way more relaxed. Okay, if you are on the other side, you have to do this, and by doing this, it's awkward. It's an awkward movement, and that's what's going to project in the picture. But what Trump does in these situations, I've noticed that to keep the dominance in this kind of situations, he raises his elbow a lot, like a lot. It's like he does this. You have seen. You remember that handshake with Emmanuel Macron not long ago? He did exactly the same to the cameras. I think, in fact, if I remember correctly, he did that to Emmanuel with, I think, yes, I'm remembering correctly. He did exactly the same to Emmanuel Macron, and they were in front of the cameras, exact same position. And Trump, this way, makes sure to project that quota of power. And the crown prince, well, the smile of the crown prince is delighted. I think he was really happy to have Trump in there. I think that they're going to do great things. And of course, he does the classic gesture of hand on the chest that they do in the Middle East. This is very common, in which when you greet somebody, after you shake hands with somebody, when you thank somebody, you put your right hand to your chest, or your left hand to your chest in this case, because you are still shaking hands. It's just a common gesture in the Middle East. And then they have this eye contact, which is important. But notice that Trump still has a power handshake going on with his palm down. I think that that he's always going to do this, regardless of how well he feels or how happy he feels with the world leaders that he meets. He's going to project the power that he has. He's going to assert the power that he representing the United States of America has. And I think that's important. I think that the president or the leader of a country, the number one thing that they should do, any leader, any president of the world, should assert the dominance and the importance of their own countries. I think that every world leader should do that. I think that should be mandatory, because otherwise it's like being embarrassed of your own country, or, oh no, we don't want a tug of war, a power handshake. No, none of that. Other things, I was going to give you this just this tidbit thanks to Brexit. Let's talk about lavender. Did you notice that President Trump was wearing a lavender tie today in Saudi Arabia? Turns out that Saudi Arabia has fields of native lavender, and in 2021 they switched from red carpets to for dignitaries to lavender ones. That was why the color of the carpet. And this last picture, well, is more emblematic. That it's really emblematic. It was really powerful. The crown prince just is waving Trump goodbye, and Trump, of course, that a power gesture of goodbye as well. And well, this is the kind of moment. I say you can display, you can have a great relationship with somebody, right? But at the end of the day, these are power relationships. This is all based in terms of what can each country do for the other, and in many ways is a measurement of power. So regardless of how well you feel with your neighbor, how you have to show, okay, we are in this equal footing and we can agree to terms in a great way, but let's acknowledge the power of each other, shall we? But I would like to.
So, yeah, I mean, it's always a good thing to see respect amongst world leaders. Um, I mean, it's not like Trump went in and pulled a George Bush in Australia. I mean, if you guys are old enough to remember that one, I think the expert is kind of seeing what he wants to see here. It's possible. I mean, everybody has a little bit of bias that shows routinely. It really is just part of life. So, but yeah. Oh my god. I apologize. I'm still not getting enough oxygen in. Actually, I'll do that in a little bit. Let me drop this down. And when Miss D gets back, we will cover that. Where is it? I think this is, yes, the Washington Post article. Or not Washington Post, I'm sorry, Associated Press. Oh, I apologize. Let me zoom this sucker in. So, um, I wanted to cover this. We originally had a Twitter post, but I wanted to cover the actual article to see if it covered anything more than, hey, they're allowing them to deport these people. So the Supreme Court on Monday allowed the Trump administration to strip legal protections from 350,000 Venezuelans, potentially exposing them to deportation. Yeah. The court's order, with only one noted dissent, put on hold a ruling from from a federal judge in San Francisco that kept in place the temporary protection status for the Venezuelans. That would have otherwise expired last month. Yeah, no. If it expired, peace out, people. The justices provided no rationale, which is common in emergency appeals. Is it? I'm not familiar with that. But I don't think I've ever seen an emergency appeal. So, but then again, I might not have paid attention to it. The status allows, oops, let me make sure I can see the comments. The status allows people already in the United States to live and work legally because their native countries are deemed unsafe for return due to natural disaster or civil strife. The High Court's order the High Court's order appears to be with the single largest action in the modern American history, stripping any group of non-citizens of immigration status. Said, yeah, that person. I'm not even going to try. One of the attorneys for the Venezuelan immigrants. Um, This decision will force families to be in an impossible position, either choosing to survive or choose stability. Um, Said Cecilia Gonzalez Herrera, who sued to try to stop the Trump administration from revoking legal protections from her and others like her. Um, I saw a comment pop up. There really wasn't a ruling. This was simply a removal of the lower court stopping a removal of status by the injunction or restraining order. Okay, and now I know they had said that since um, a president put it on, a president could remove it. I had read that somewhere. Oh my god. I do apologize. I do not know what is up today. So, that's one of the understandings I have is because it was put in place by a president, they can definitely remove it.
Boo!
Well, Trump can.
Boo!
Hi.
Hello, we're home.
I don't scare.
Okay. Well, you want me to scream?
It still wouldn't have done anything but hurt my ear.
Well, all right. Maybe it would have wakened you up a little bit.
I'm awake. I just keep yawning. I think I'm low on oxygen today.
There you go.
I have a pulsometer, but no.
Well,
So yeah,
I was low, so you're probably low.
oh, you're low.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's because you refuse to use the oxygen the way you're
Yeah, I
supposed.
got in trouble. I got in all kind of trouble.
JJ says we have a sleepy bee. Uh, oh
a
no, my
sleepy
oxygen's decent.
a sleepy B and a sleepy D. Don't
I guess
yawn.
it's not a lack of oxygen today. Um, Gotta put this somewhere. So,
You know what?
we are
Are you
now
reading? When you're done with what you're doing, do a little stop, okay?
okay.
All right.
I was just gonna finish this really quick article.
Go ahead.
It's better. It's even though it's a completely biased article, it's still better than just a Twitter post
That's fine.
stating Trump can now deport people. So
Yep.
I figured I'd add it in.
Okay.
The decision will for oh yeah, we read that from. So they're going to start. Oh, look at that! It's the end. Oh wait, no, it's not. Venezuelans are not criminals, Gonzalez Herrera said. Did you come here across the border and not stop at the port of entry? If you stopped at the port of entry, then I give you credit. You're not a criminal. However, if you didn't stop at the port of entry, you are by definition a criminal. And oh, it's not the court did not rule on anything. It was likely a policy of the Biden administration, which means
Jack shit.
um the people asking for the order preventing the status change were not likely to succeed in an appeal. So basically, they said, lower court, shut up, go away. You don't have a say in this. Okay. So, but again, I still hold to if you come through the port of entry, I have no problem with you. If you sneak through, under, or around or over a fence, I have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Port of entry, you were going to get through anyways. Oh, wait, you mean you're coming through anywhere but a port of entry because you're already wanted for crimes? You have drugs on you? You are with someone who is not your child? You know, the illegal stuff that would have gotten you detained and sent back?
You may have
I
been,
mean,
yeah, meeting up with criminal families. You may be trafficking. Who knows what you're doing?
yeah, the only people who really avoided the port of entry were ones who were doing something that they weren't supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but there were so many. How do you justify women and children?
Well, the children are dragged by the adults who sent
Correct.
them. Women are probably muling drugs
Uh huh. Because
or
with,
with kids that
yeah,
aren't theirs.
right. And
Yeah.
didn't the stats say a large portion of them had been somewhat sexually assaulted
Oh,
in the
very
way?
much is what I
Yeah,
have heard.
yeah.
Very much. A large portion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so again, I still hold to if you come through the port of entry, even under Biden, I don't have a complaint. It's when you came across the other ways. So we all deserve a chance to thrive without being sent back to danger. Prove you were in danger and you don't have a problem, right?
Again, well, and again, it's not our job to take on the world either.
I
Or-
know, but
Yeah,
if
but
they come through legally and they
that's
prove that
fine.
their country is a danger and that's our policy, we
This
have to abide by our policy.
freaking dog hair just got all over me again. Son of a. Ugh. How did that happen, Crazy Bee?
I don't know.
I had it
He,
all off of me and now it's all back. What the?
well, at least you're home.
Oh, jeez. What is going on here? I'm sorry.
Mm.
I digress.
Oh, he's still shedding his winter coat. I
Yeah.
bet you
Oh
that's
my
what it is.
God. This is this. What the heck was he doing? Was he in my bed while I was gone?
Possibly.
Holy shit. This is ridiculous. Anyway, I digress. I apologize.
It's all right.
Oh
So
yeah,
the
just wait.
ramification
Yep. Go ahead.
for the hundreds of thousands of people affected aren't yet clear. Whatever dude's last name is said. Mariana Moleros,
Mm-hmm.
her husband and their daughter left their native Venezuela in September of 2005 after receiving death threats for other open political opposition to the socialist government. They came to the United States hoping to find peace and protection. They requested asylum, but their application was denied. In
Mm.
2005, that was Obama, not Trump.
Well,
Hold on.
what do you do?
I don't
No.
know the stats to believe because everybody has a reason to make up numbers to support their positions. No, these
Oh,
were Border Patrol numbers that stated the children had been sexually assaulted. These were actual Border Patrol numbers I saw somewhere. Um,
yeah, I think they're on. I think it's on their website, the cbp.gov website.
they may have it there.
And
It was during an interview with the Border Patrol. So, they were temporarily granted the protection thing, but now they live in fear again. Well, if you were granted it all the way back into, well, hold on. It says they were denied.
right?
I bet they came back under Biden.
Maybe.
So, but it was Obama who denied them the first time, wasn't? No, that was before
Or
Obama.
Obama. Who was
That
that?
was Bush Jr. 2005 was Bush Jr. So, sorry, I don't get it. How is this Trump's fault? They were temporarily granted the protection, but now they live in fear again, fear of being detained and deported to a country where they don't feel safe. Um, oh, I like, or as the ramification is, if your only status is temporary protection, now you can be deported. Yeah. So today we are all exposed to being imprisoned in Venezuela if they return us, said Maleros, a 44-year-old Venezuelan attorney who lives in Florida. They should not deport someone who is at risk of being assassinated, tortured, or incarcerated. Now, hold on. This new president isn't one of the socialist ones, is he? No, El Salvador is the one we're working with, right?
Correct.
Not Venezuela.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, Venezuela is still a hot mess.
But I think,
But
isn't Venezuela working with China to develop that offshore?
I think they were last I heard.
And then that was put to a stop or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so, an appeal court had earlier rejected the administration's request to put the order on hold while the lawsuit continues. A hearing is set for next week in front of the U.S. District Judge Edward Chen, who has paused the administration's plans. Um, in a statement, Homeland Security called the court's decision a win for America, people, American people, and the safety of our communities, and said the Biden administration exploited programs to let poorly vetted migrants into this country. And again, I do blame the Biden administration because we could have helped so many people who truly were refugees. And now we have to basically say, everyone out, let's try this again in a proper, orderly fashion. I don't like that that even happened in the
Do
first
we
place.
even do we know approximately how many actual true refugees there would be?
Given some of these countries they're running from, a
Yeah.
lot. I
And
mean, look at
why?
the people running from China, the people running from the Middle East,
Okay,
the
so
people running from
why
Africa.
are we taking them all in? Why aren't other countries taking them in?
Oh, they have been. Have
Mm.
have you seen what happened to Europe?
Oh yes, but do believe Europe is kicking them out just as well.
Yeah, because they're sick of all the
Uh,
crime finally kicking in. Because guess what they did? They didn't vet them either.
correct.
It's
So
kind of a funny thing when you don't vet the people, what actually happens.
yes, so I go back to the whole thing of we're not taking care of our own, and until we are, I don't know, what do you let pick a number, 75%, 80%.
I
Art said
would
what the article doesn't talk about is when they were given protected status. Was that in '05 or was it last year? Right. We
exactly.
don't know that. Correct.
Yep. Now, as for a percentage of actual refugees coming here, I would say it's probably on the lines of 60 to 70%.
Okay, no, I meant when our country has our act together. At what point
Oh,
do we want to start bringing people in? Do you want to say that the country is 75% whole, 80% whole, and then we start bringing people in?
I
When
don't
we,
know.
yeah, when we have our shit together.
I would say we got to at least get our this corruption out. I mean, and that corruption's never going to go away. This is again what I was talking about. Trump's coming in making these big changes, but Obama walked in and made some big changes, and what
Uh-huh.
happened?
Right.
It all got undone.
Right. That's the thing.
So,
There was a report that I read that talked about how Congress has given up their fiduciary responsibilities to let the president do these executive orders. They're not doing their job, basically. So
yeah,
the president is the one that is issuing, why aren't they handling the border situation? Why aren't they handling immigration? Why aren't they fixing the education department or the USAID program or all of it? They're not doing their job. What are these oversight committees doing? You and I just watched something. I don't know if we're actually going to use it, but that purple haired chick that we showed, uh,
mhm.
you got when the Dems are in, they're attacking the right. Whoever is the secretary, whoever they have before them in a hearing.
They're so busy
When
fighting each
the
other, nothing ever gets done.
Exactly. When the right is in power, they're bitching at the Dems. I mean, it just is absolutely ridiculous.
It's high school
Yeah.
squabbling.
We sent you 30 letters and you haven't responded to any of them. I mean, I don't know. It just is tit for tat all the time, and nothing is
Yeah.
getting accomplished. And we are suffering, and there are abuses obviously being made. I didn't know we were paying for circumcisions.
In a country that,
Uh huh.
what do we get in return for it?
Exactly.
Um, Hold on. The hearings are often referred to as speechifying because all they
Yeah.
are is a place for politicians to give speeches at
The expense
the
of the
expense
witness.
of a witness.
Yep. That's absolutely right. Like they ripped Marco Rubio.
Oh, but
He
he
was a
gave it right back.
Yes, he did. But he was a fellow senator. That was the other weird. Get down off of those drapes.
Um, okay.
Sorry. What are you doing?
That would be one of the cats.
That's Jekyll. It is true. There's a that you need to watch what you name your pets because they live up to their name. So we had a dog that and again, we're digressing, but we had a dog that we rescued from the shelter that was approximately close to 2 years old. He was abused, beat, all this other stuff. They had named him Legend. He didn't look like no legend. What do? We named him Chase. And for 3 years, that's all we did was chase him. The police had him, UPS had him, uh, Amazon had him, the post office had him. The neighbors had him. He was gone up to 5 miles from our home. As soon as his nose picked up a scent, this dog was gone. He was an escape artist. Then what does Dippity Doo do here? We get these two cats, brother and sister, and I'm like, oh, what are we gonna name them? It'll be cool to name them Jekyll and Hyde. Yeah, right. Yeah, uh huh. Those little sons of guns live up to their name. They have been everywhere in this house, and I mean everywhere except hanging from the ceiling. Yeah.
Give it time. I'm sure they'll find a way.
Oh yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Dumbass me. I'm gonna have to next animals we get. I'm gonna have to come up with some type of passive name for them, like lazy or sleepy, that kind of thing. Then maybe if I named the dog Sleepy, he'd sleep all day. I don't know. Anyway, I apologize. He was literally hanging off the drapes.
Yeah, that's what cats do.
Uh huh. Well, sorry. Just
Yeah.
wait. You guys have, well, go ahead, finish the article, and then we'll tell them what we discussed this morning.
Okay. In a statement, Homeland Security called the court's decision a win for America, American people, and the safety of our communities, and said the Biden administration exploited programs to let poorly vetted migrants in. Um, oh my God.
You
The
want me to
Trump
read?
administration. Could you please? I
Yes,
keep
ma'am.
coughing so much.
The Trump administration is reinstituting integrity into our immigration system to keep our homeland and its people safe, said spokeswoman Tricia McLaughlin. The case is the latest in a string of emergency appeals President Donald Trump's administration has made to the Supreme Court, many of them related to immigration and involving Venezuela. Earlier this month, the government asked the court to allow it to end humanitarian parole for hundreds of thousands of immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, setting them up for potential deportation as well. The High Court has been involved in slowing Trump's effort to swiftly deport Venezuelans accused of being gang members to a prison in El Salvador under an 18th century wartime law called the Alien Enemies Act. The complex economic and political crisis in Venezuela has driven more than 7.7 million people to leave the South American nation since 2013. Venezuelans' most recent economic troubles pushed year over year inflation in April to 172%. The latest chapter even prompted President Nicolas Maduro to declare an economic emergency last month. Maduro, whose re-election last year to a third term has been condemned internationally as illegitimate, also has cracked down on his political opponents. In the dispute over TPS, the administration has moved aggressively to withdraw various protections that have allowed immigrants to remain in the country, including ending the temporary protected status for a total of 600,000 Venezuelans and 500,000 Haitians. That status is granted in 18-month increments. Venezuela was first designated for TPS in 2021 and Haiti in 2010. Last week, DHS announced that TPS for Afghanistan, first provided in 2022, would end in mid July. We actually had 2 plane loads land in my city in the cover of night. The protection for Venezuelans had been set to expire April 7th, but Chen found that the expiration threatened to severely disrupt the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and could cost billions in lost economic activity. Chen, who was appointed to the bench by Democratic President Barack Obama, found the government hadn't shown any harm
Oh, hold on.
caused by keeping the program alive. But Solicitor General D. Don Sauer wrote on behalf of the administration that Chen's order impermissibly interferes with the administration's power over immigration and foreign affairs. In addition, Sauer told the justices people affected by ending the protected status might have other legal options to try to remain in the country because the decision to terminate TPS is not equivalent to a final removal order. Congress created TPS in 1990 to prevent deportations to countries suffering from natural disasters or civil strife. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson said she would have rejected the administration's emergency appeal.
Hmm. Oh, that's the end of it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, this isn't like a, oh, your order's removed, you're instantly deported. Your protection is removed, but this is a, we now have the ability to remove you if you're, doing wrong and other things. The only thing the court upheld in this immigrant's right to notice of removal and a hearing prior to removal. The rest is policy, which the current president can change at any time. Yeah.
But then they
So,
still can file lawsuits against it depending on what he does. If they don't like what he does, I mean, they have.
well, and this is assuming he's going to send them straight back to that country. If he knows that they're a risk, maybe he'll send them to a third country to sit over until it's all determined out and they're properly vetted. Did
What's
anybody think about
interesting though
that?
is what country would that be though? Who would take them?
Mexico in the past has offered to take people, and they might
Right?
do it again.
Why don't we have a alien an illegal alien city? If they were going to do an Islamic city, why don't we take that city in
No,
Texas? You don't want to do that? You
no,
don't like that
no,
idea?
no.
I'm just being a
We have
smart
enough
ass.
problems with those whatever
Hmm.
fucking cities those are, those
I
safe
know.
cities or
You
whatever
know,
the
I'm
fuck.
just being a smart ass.
I know, but I'm so fed up with it. It's like,
I know.
I get it. Our system's broken and it takes too fucking long. But by taking that fucking long, we don't let terrorists in.
Hmm.
We let in
Well,
properly assimilated citizens who already understand the culture and aren't going to do something ridiculous with the excuse of, oh, I didn't know.
okay, I told you the story. It made national headlines. There was a terrorist that came to the city that wanted to bomb a church. And the idiot
Hmm.
hooks up with the FBI of all people. And the FBI spent months driving him around the city trying to get intel on him. And they ultimately picked a church. Now, you want to talk about being strange coincidences. They picked they picked a church and see, I tell them don't interrupt me. Can you hear me, Crazy B?
I can still hear you.
Okay. All right. Um, so they pick a church that was in my old neighborhood that if honest to God I'm gonna kill somebody. I might be in jail myself today. Um they pick a church that was in my old neighborhood that if the bomb would have went off would have killed friends of mine that I grew up with as a little kid. That's how devastating this thing would have been that they had planned.
Hmm.
And the guy ultimately, he's, in prison for life or I don't know what they did to him, but how did he get here in the first place? How did he make his way and find his way here and go, I want to blow up a church?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any, how do you just, and the other thing that really I found disturbing, but I guess because they wanted to try to get the intel from him was why did it take them months to drive around to decide like what the perfect church was to bomb? That
That
bothered
is
me.
weird.
Yeah, that bothered me a lot. Yep. That was very disturbing. But that's where we're at as far as we have a whole series planned on the border and immigration that if we ever get out of corruption, which I doubt it,
We will. It's just going to take time.
we haven't even touched the Republicans yet.
No, we have not,
But we
but
will, yeah, we'll get to them. Um,
it's on the
you,
to do list.
yeah. So, what does Art say here before we end this segment here?
1 second.
Oh, I'm familiar with him. Yeah. Sheriff Joe, I think it's Arpia or Arpaio, fought all the way to the Supreme Court and won the ability to put prisoners in tents. Correct. Perhaps that's the way to go. Sheriff Joe was from Arizona. You can look it up. I'm familiar with him. I'm not crazy about the tents, to be honest with you. I feel like there could have the a more possibility of fights and the prisoners running the asylum. I just don't like the idea of the tent cities. It just doesn't seem I don't know. It even seems less. I don't is less personal the right word I'm looking for than
Mm,
than holding cells isn't the right word. I don't know, where do they keep them once they where would they put all these people? In the hotel? I don't know.
no, he was talking about maybe doing a tent city type of
Yeah,
thing, I
I
guess.
know, but yeah. They actually tried to put the tents up in New York, and that went down right away.
Mhm.
The community fought against that.
There was a similar thing back in, oh, how long ago? Um, when all the people ended up moving into Central Park
Yes.
because of the living
Mm-hmm.
conditions in New York. What year was that?
I don't remember.
It
I
was a
do
while
recall.
back. I
Yeah.
think it was even before I was born. But yeah. Well, the immigrants are going to be crazy about aren't going to be crazy about tents either. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're no matter what, they're gonna be pissed off, but
Mhm.
until they can prove that they're not criminals and they can actually blend into our society and not be confused about what's considered murder, and that, dragging a child under a bridge, assaulting them and killing them, "Oh, what do you mean it's illegal here?"
Right.
I mean, that's what they've even done that's an excuse that was being used in the UK. In Britain and stuff. They're like, "Oh, I
Hmm.
didn't know it was illegal to essay a
Uh-huh.
13-year-old girl."
Right.
Bull crap.
Well, no, because in their country that it is acceptable.
No, I'm saying it's bull crap to let them come through and just bring them in without any level to I mean, if we were to go to their country, they would demand we understand their entire culture.
Okay, hold on. I seem to recall us having a discussion like early on about assimilation into our country,
Yes.
language and all of that. Correct? Didn't we have something about that?
Yeah,
And
that's part of the immigration process.
correct. And I was for the assimilation. Did
Mhm.
we have some pushback on that from you know, I can't recall. I
I
don't
don't
we have
think
to go
anyone
back and
pushed
pull
back
tape.
on that. I
Huh?
think we all agreed. Only thing I pushed back on is English is the national language.
Well, that's
That was
now
me.
been taken care of, hasn't it? Because
I
Trump
don't get a
signed an
say in
exec.
it.
I know Trump signed an executive order saying so. So there. Blah. Anyway, are we done with this
Um,
segment? You want to move on a
Hold
little
on.
bit?
Four Corners posted Plan A series on 1863 and 1871 that enabled the Act of 1871 with the Virginia Company overseas.
He wants us to
Oh,
plan
series.
series.
No,
Yeah,
plan a series on 1863 and
1863.
1871 and the
Hmm.
enabling the act of 1871 and the Virginia Company seas. Mm, I'll have to look into that.
We'll have to check into it.
I'd call it sanctuary purgatory.
There you go.
Some of the bleeding hearts tend to believe that you can parachute somebody end of the middle of hold on.
Here, I'll do it. Some of the bleeding hearts tend to believe that you can parachute somebody. I'm assuming
Yeah,
that end of the middle of our society where they don't speak the language and don't know the culture, and that helps them. Shaking my head.
yeah.
Exactly. We have, I think it's what, about 50 miles from us. We have a group of Haitians that took over an entire city.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can parachute someone into
Into.
a
Yeah.
city, the middle of a city.
Right.
Okay, got it.
Hmm. And then we got the
And
Y.
I don't agree with that. I mean, again, my grandparents came over in the 1920s when there really wasn't much of an immigration process to assimilate in. You just kind of got dumped in, and it was really complicated.
Hmm.
They all complained it was such a bad process to just dump us here with no help. So they finally get help, and now it takes too long. Can y'all just make up your minds?
I don't think they can. That's the problem.
Oh Lord, it's
Oh,
really annoying.
okay. So do you want to talk just a little bit about what we talked about this morning?
Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna be coughing and wheezing.
Okay.
I'll
So
chime in when I can.
okay. So for as you know, starting next Tuesday, I have the baby, and then I don't know, around June 6th or so, I have Jacob in the morning. And I'm extremely concerned about uh, the baby. I don't want to be on a live with him crying from 3 to 5 every single live or whatever. And he's right now having some difficulty with formula and stuff. So Crazy Bee and I were talking about kind of what makes sense. And our thought was that we were going to maybe consider changing some timing up, either looking at going to a Monday, Wednesday, Friday format, with Tuesdays and Thursdays being still wrecked sisters, but questions that need answers that Crazy Bee would do. And if I'm available, I'll pop in. But if I'm not, I can be at least taking care of the baby. So I'm just concerned. I'm not, I don't know what to say. I'm worried about it all. I have myself worked up about it because, you know, this was not planned when Crazy Bee and I started this. So I have the baby for the next 3 years, so he goes to preschool, and that's just the way it is. We considered doing a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday format for uh, Rec Sister, and Crazy Bee would do Mondays and Fridays. So if you guys could really be patient with us while we experiment with things, we would really appreciate it till we kind of get into some kind of groove. We even talked about maybe moving the hour back to maybe a 2 to 4 kind of thing, Eastern Standard Time. We're not sure what to do right at this second. Crazy Bee is extremely flexible, and I'm the one causing all this grief. So maybe,
Ah, I
maybe
stay let the baby cry, and if people don't like it, they can buzz off.
I could just shove a pacifier in his mouth and tape it to him, right? Um,
Now that would suffocate him, but
yeah,
still.
it's just I'm just really concerned, guys, about I just don't want to have a screaming kid on our hands, and so we've been kicking around like a bunch of ideas. So whatever we do, it may work, it might not. And if you could just hang with us, we really appreciate it. Crazy Bee was able to, I don't know, can you pull up our YouTube, Crazy Bee, by any chance, and show them what you did?
I can. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
So we worked on today trying to tie in uh Wrecked Sisters is rather the umbrella over everything. Well, it didn't start that way. Crazy Bee started Questions That Need Answers as the experiment with various platforms. And then from there, we went and looked at the studios. And then Wrecked Sisters was created as the umbrella over Questions That Need Answers. And then ultimately, I had said that Insomniac Theater was going to launch after Labor Day. There's no way I could pull that off with 2 kids. That probably isn't going to fly until the beginning of January. There's no way I could do it all. So Insomniac Theater won't launch probably till 2026. And if you notice, Crazy Bee pulled up our, now this is on YouTube, and she was able to create our channel affiliate. So whenever you're looking for what she is doing, all you have to do is go to Rect Sisters, see the affiliate, click on questions that need answers, and it'll take you right to her. Uh,
And Questions That Need Answers has a affiliate for Rec Sisters. So both channels will lead you to each other.
Correct. And once Insomniac Theater is done, all three of them will talk to one another. We also have friends of the channel. So if somebody wants to be our friend, just let us know. We have
And we'll add
crazy,
it.
and we'll add it. We have Crazy Bee Gaming. Unique Prepping is one of our good friends, and so is Common Censored. Um, so that's kind of what we worked on today, believe it or not, in the short period of time we had. But I don't mean to be a pain in the ass, but I am. This is, again,
Uh, Read what
okay.
JJ said.
He said, "We have no choice. We are just here for the ride. We are extremely flexible. Love you both." Thanks, JJ. I really appreciate that. Um, it means a lot to us.
Oh
Uh,
no, I thought we lost you
yeah, it
for
means
a
a lot.
second.
Yeah, it means a lot to us.
Sorry, you put me
Don't.
in a coughing fit. That
I
was
was
great.
going to say, I thought you were going to have a fit. It means a lot.
Oh,
We as we started this, we thought one thing, and things are just kind of going in different directions. If you would have heard today's conversation, it was just the funniest thing because how long ago did you try to talk to me about certain things? And it just,
back when we first started formulating the idea, back in
uh-huh.
November,
Yep.
when we were starting the idea to get Rec Sisters fully going, I was already using Questions That Need Answers. I was like, well, we could just scrap the one YouTube channel and put all of it into one channel
Hmm.
under, and they each have their own playlist, their thumbnails, whichever. And it wasn't a good idea at the time, got sidelined until today. So,
Right. Okay. Art says what works for you guys is okay with me. I've to get back to working on the house, and I'm only here because this is basically the end of my work day. I guess that bit of baby noise is okay too. You say that now.
oh,
Just
a bit of baby
yeah.
noise is
You say that now. Just wait. 2 hours of
some of us are whining and crying anyway, so JJ just fit right in.
ain't that the truth? Yeah, I really appreciate it. It's just this was not in my plan whatsoever, and there's no way that I would let that child go to daycare. So it is
Yeah,
what it is, and
especially at that young.
yeah, there's just no way I could do it. So until he hits preschool, um, we're kind of stuck. So I think it's going to be interesting. So, but I do appreciate Crazy Bee is extremely. She's a great friend. I couldn't ask for a better partner in this. Knowledge wise, I think we work
I'm
well together.
knowledgeable. Holy crap. I'm figuring this out as we go still.
Oh, so you're still? Are you telling me you're still flying by the seat of your pants?
Yes, I am, ma'am.
Mm. So it's all been a lie that you know what you're doing then?
For the most part, I know what I'm doing. I'm still learning new things. No, 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 no daycare. I'll babysit. And I hate kids. LOL.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Art. Come on down.
Ugh.
That would be a good idea. JJ could watch them one day, Four Corners the next. Art,
Art a
yeah,
third. I'll
yeah,
pick up a day.
that would take care of our days. We would be
A
in great
community. It
shape.
takes a community to raise a
Yes, it does.
child.
This is true. So that's kind of where we're at. So if we were thinking maybe in 2 weeks, maybe we're going to give the baby a try for 2 weeks, a trial, and see how it goes from the 3 to 5. And if he is crying for those 2 weeks, then we're going to try to readjust the scheduling. So that's the plan. So when we get back on Tuesday from Memorial Day break, he will be here. And, or actually, I'm going to go up there for the week. And then he'll be down here the following week. But we'll give the 2 week trial. If that doesn't work, then we'll readjust. And all we
Sounds
can
like a
do,
plan.
yeah, and all we can do is as he grows is continue to readjust with him and just hang with us for the ride. That's all I can say. And
I mean, lives change,
hmm
and we are adapting as best we can to still provide this somewhat entertaining stuff.
is that what it's
Um,
called? Entertaining?
entertaining, somewhat educational, somewhat opinionated, whatever you want to call this. It's not really a podcast. It's not really a reaction channel.
hmm
It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So at the doctor's today, uh, I have permission to share some certain information about them with you, but I'll do that later. But they're going to be joining in on the podcast, and they already know. I just warned her about our, things that go on, and she's like, well, obviously. It's not like I haven't heard this shit before. So we might have some entertaining doctor in the house, nurse practitioner in the house. So we'll get some good info.
They can chime in their opinions.
Uh
They don't
huh.
have to give medical advice,
Correct.
just something that they know,
Correct.
their opinion on this medication. Any
Yeah, and
decent?
they have one on what we were discussing, so you'll be interested in that. Anyway, okay. So
Sorry. Oh my
Four
God.
Corners just popped up. Four Corners. Are you going to babysit one day a
I think
week?
there might be a bit of a lag, and that's why some of these are delayed.
I see. So Four Corners, you're coming in one day a week, or at least, how about once every 2 weeks to help babysit? And then we'll get Blue Rose in on it, and then we should be good to go. And
That
I'll
would be
provide
fun.
and I'll provide some food. How about that? There we go. All right, what do we
Bribe
got
them with
up
food
next?
and liquor.
Yo,
Um,
oh, you want Okay, I'll feed you first, and I'll give you some alcohol at the end. How about that? I'll
and
give you.
then you can take care of the baby.
There you go. There,
You
there
don't
we
want
got a
me to
setup.
babysit JJ something military school. Welcome to my family.
Uh,
It looks like
well,
Linda. Oh, JJ Linda Military School.
oh, there you go. Welcome to the family.
Four
Okay,
Corners says same
same
here.
here. There you go. All right, what do we got going on next there, Crazy B?
Oh, JJ will end up in military school.
Uh
Okay, it
oh,
said Linda
that's
for some
okay.
reason.
We'll see. You know, Art has to
Art
come.
has. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Art has to come over to Rumble to watch a Crazy Bee at Lady Hamilton's art channel on Saturday
Oh,
at
that's
7
right.
p.m. I hope that Dee can join us this Saturday. That all depends if I have cell service. I plan on being away, so where I'm going is in the middle of a field, and I don't know if I will have service or not, but if I do, I will be there.
Uh huh.
And that's
Um,
the same day that your daughter is having her graduation party.
graduation party. It's
Yeah.
earlier in the day though. We're doing that
Okay.
at noon.
When?
Okay.
Your sister's graduation party is at noon on Saturday.
Today's Saturday.
No, today is Thursday.
So Art says on the phone and spell check auto corrects as it sends.
Are you
Ugh.
sure?
Yeah, I know. I I hate that spell check. Okay, Crazy B, what do you got up next
And
for
it's
us?
7 p.m. Eastern, by the
Eastern.
way, for
Correct.
Saturday.
Yep.
So 6 p.m. Central.
Okay. What do you got?
Okay, next is a bunch of these companies all have the same address and emails.
Yes, we want somebody to explain this.
Do they know? Sorry, my son. Oh, nope, maybe we lost D.
No, I'm here. I'm waiting
Oh,
for you to hit play.
oh,
Take a
okay.
look at this quiet building in Signal Hill, California. Doesn't look like the headquarters of hundreds of trucking companies, right? But federal records show nearly 700 freight companies tied to this single address. Roughly 500 of those companies list the same email. WTF, FMCSA at AOL.com.
How ridiculous and absurd is this?
Cracks reported this exact address to federal regulators 2 years ago.
If we all know about it and we reported it, why is something not being done?
That's the question.
Well,
That's the question.
you do recall me telling the story of what was going on up in New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the Roosevelt Hotel and the other hotel, the ritzy one that the neighbors finally got them kicked out of. But at both hotels, parked out front were those mopeds. Number one, New York City required a license to drive them, and none of the illegal aliens had a license to drive them. They were driving on the sidewalk, they were running people over, they were causing car accidents. But the
Yep.
interesting piece about it was what was being done, and that was people were making deliveries, either pizza, flowers, food, dry cleaning, whatever. And what they were doing was they were using one cell phone, one social security number, and one banking number. I wanted, plus, they were making some of them over $1,000 a month in addition to what the city and the feds were providing them in benefits. How was the scheme being run by all of these people being able to use the same social security number, the same checking account number? How did they get away with all of that?
Oh my God. They get away with it because nobody's keeping tabs on it. Why is that, Mother?
But I don't understand how it starts to begin with if you have to fill out, what is it? Oh my gosh, HR pop back into my head. I-9? Everybody's supposed to fill out an I-9 form saying with your name, your social security number, somebody has to verify it. So these companies, or like the pizza shop who hires somebody with the moped, right? That says, oh, I'll only charge you $5 to deliver this pizza instead of maybe a normal $20 delivery fee, right? But they're using,
Yeah.
how are they getting away with the same numbers? That's what I don't understand. Somebody's in control of it. It kind of reminds me of like a pyramid scheme almost, but
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard like the ending of the story. Like all these stories have been identified, but I've never heard the result of what has happened to these stories. I have never heard the end of, it's been identified of what they've done up in New York, but I've never heard of how did somebody put a stop to it? Did the police investigating, or the feds involved? Somebody's get making bank. I'll tell you that.
Oh, of course, because they're not paying taxes on the people and all that other stuff. So
Correct.
mhm, that's kind of to be expected.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Oh, this next video is gonna be good. Hold on. I got it's another short one, but
Okay,
it's
so
one
we
I
got,
actually.
just real quick, Four Corners asked to drop a link to Lady Hamilton.
Yeah,
Uh,
JJ will have
right.
it tomorrow,
Okay,
or
cool.
should be available tomorrow morning.
So the
Um,
government probably doesn't. Oops, you're sharing media.
what?
It covered up my. That's okay. There we go. Art says the government probably doesn't cross check data. All they see is the money paid in. JJ says, uh, okay. Oh, we got
Oh,
that.
yeah. That's the channel to Lady Hamilton, her whole channel.
Okay.
And when it goes live, you guys will know about it.
So it's just a bizarre situation. Again, we're hearing these stories, but I'm not hearing the result of what has happened. Now, up in New York at the Ritzy Hotel, the police finally came and picked up all the mopeds and took them all away. But why did they leave them at the Roosevelt? They left them there. How is that acceptable?
Because they have no respect.
Well, that's sad.
But there is evidently some fraud being dealt with because some of these people are getting fined. Some of the illegals are
Okay.
being fined, and this is a news coverage of one of those cases.
All right, let's see it.
Don't feel well. This woman, who we will call Maria, says she did not want to use her real name, concerned she could be targeted. But she does want people to know her story.
No deseo ir para atrás.
She told us, I don't want to go back. She's the mother of 3 children who are American citizens. She asked us not to show them. Maria arrived from Honduras in February of 2005. 2 months later, she had an order to leave the country after not appearing at a hearing, but she never left. I asked her why she did not go to the hearing.
Yo le dije al oficial, yo no tengo, no sé, no tengo familia.
I told the immigration officer I don't have a family in this country or a specific place to stay. She told me she entered the U.S. through California.
Pero en ningún momento me llegaron ningún documento.
I never received any document, and they did not know where I was going to be. This month, she received this letter at her house in South Florida. She has been fined for more than $1.82 million.
It says that the government could fine an individual, an undocumented individual, daily $500.
Michelle Sanchez is Maria's attorney. She showed us the document Maria received.
They're supposed to say on the date that she was advised, and this is blank because they never advised her of the penalties.
Okay.
So that's going to be
Because
my
she never
argument.
showed
The
up.
1952 Act has historically rarely been enforced, but in February, the Trump administration announced it will penalize people living in the U.S. illegally under that act.
What she has is an order of removal in her absence.
Is that still accumulating even today?
Yes. It's
So
still
that figure
accumulating.
is increasing.
It could increase. For me, that is absolutely nuts.
Sanchez filed a motion to reopen her client's case last year under a policy of the Biden administration, giving ICE attorneys the discretion to reopen cases and lift removal orders. Have you ever been arrested?
Nunca.
When I asked her if she would voluntarily return to her home country,
Me dolería tanto dejar mis hijos.
it would be extremely painful to be separated from my children. This is their country. This is all they know. Please have mercy. I want to stay with them.
Okay.
She was told to leave.
Since
She chose
2000,
not
wait,
to.
20 years she's been here and she can't speak English.
Yeah.
What
Honestly, I bet she can speak English, but they did this on purpose.
you think?
Oh, yeah. I believe they have her speaking Spanish on purpose. Uh-huh.
What purpose does that serve?
I don't know.
Art says, back in my smog mechanic days, guys would be fined over and over and they'd stay in business. Fines don't really do much unless the government wants to stop the activity.
That's true. And
This
if she would have showed up to the court, she would have been advised that
mm,
she would be fined. But she didn't show up. So lack of okay, what is that? Lack of knowledge or lack of
yeah,
what
I
is it?
know it.
Lack of that yeah,
Yeah, it
doesn't
doesn't
excuse.
excuse. Hmm.
And that goes for Americans too. If you don't show up to court, what happens? Same freaking thing. It still gets laid on you. Your court fines and your court costs still get applied to you, even if you weren't there to understand what they were and why. It
Correct.
doesn't matter. Show up to the damn court date. You wouldn't have had kids here if you'd left when you were told to.
Right.
Not our problem. And so what? You haven't committed any crime since. You were told to leave. You then committed a crime by not leaving for 20 years.
Correct.
Like,
I,
this is
I
insane.
it's I don't feel sorry for her. I mean, I must be a real hard ass at this point,
Nope,
right?
I don't. I don't. You're not a hard ass. Lack of planning on your part does not constitute as an emergency on my part. Exactly. That's another good one. Four Corners says, should have thought about that before you broke our laws by staying. Yeah,
Hmm.
do these people, I mean, and I know she's got to be more better at English than this. Obviously, she's had to work to pay bills, get, things taken care of, and her kids and fed and all that. She has to have had some degree of English in the last
Hmm.
20 years.
Right.
That I think they have her only speaking in Spanish for a reason.
But I think,
Tearjerker.
yeah, but I think that makes their case look worse.
I do too.
It just
I do
proves the
too.
point. It proves the point of lack of assimilation to the country.
Lack of attempt to even.
Right.
Yeah.
Or and she knew this whole time that she
Uh-huh.
wasn't here. She was here illegally, right? So why didn't she address it as a certain point? She now seems to have an attorney. Why didn't she have one 10, 15, 5 years ago? Why is it 20 years later that this is now a problem?
Mhm. Four Corners, if I don't show up to court, they will hunt me down. Yeah.
What are
I
you
have
doing in court, Four Corners?
I have some sympathy, but I do not have 20 years worth.
Uh,
And
there you go.
again, my sympathy would have been fine at the I'm now being deported. I know I feel bad for you, but you chose to stay this long and then you racked up 182 million. You get what you
And
deserve.
that's the other thing that is absurd. Really? Like
$500 a
is
day
she,
until you get the hell
but
out of
yeah,
the
but wait,
country.
like she has that kind of money.
Well,
Uh-huh.
she should have thought about that before staying. Hell, she should have showed up to the court date to find out about it.
Yeah, but what's funny is we're never going to see that $1.8 million.
No, they'll deport her and it'll get zeroed out. But still,
I mean, what are we supposed to do with her? Put her to work to pay it off?
mm-hmm. And I agree, CBS is rag news. I totally do. And that's why I use this clip as to show how biased this is.
Mm-hmm.
This is very biased. And I don't like it.
Yeah,
And
and
I stick to my guns.
yeah, in Four Corners, that's one thing that Crazy Bee and I try to do is present from all angles, just not one sided information. So there's stuff that we wholeheartedly disagree about, but we will um, present it because we feel that all options need to be on the table. My biggest thing is no matter what you believe in or what side, whatever you are, that you have to know who your opposition is. My theory has always been know thine enemy. And so we can't go around this in this world without knowing what we're up against.
Bingo.
Um, so that we know how to respond in the event that something does happen. So you'll see us go right, left, center, up, down, and all around. So what do we got up next
Hmm.
there, Crazy B?
Next, um, you missed the court date, didn't get a notice. It's been 3 months. Well, okay. try again. But 20 years later, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Same thing. Next, we have this post about Obama's social security number belonging to another person from the 1800s, I believe it was.
Yes, it was. I'll read it.
Okay,
Hold on.
thank you.
You're welcome. Hold on 1 second.
Now,
So
I
we
do
got
know like I've said, we've recycled social security numbers for quite a while because, wait, we've had social security numbers before we had the Social Security Administration?
we'll find out. So this came from Baron at News Baron, and this was a post that Crazy Bee located, and it says, "Well, well, well. Jean Paul Ludwig or Barack Hussein Obama, Social Security number 042 68 4425. An intensive investigation has revealed the identity of the man whose Social Security number, SSN, is being used by Barack Obama. Jean put Jean Paul Ludwig, who was born in France in 1890, immigrated to the United States in 1924 and was assigned Social Security number 042 68 4425. Obama's current Social Security number, received on or about March 1977. Mr. Ludwig lived most of his adult life in Connecticut. Because of that, his SSN number begins with the digits 042, which are among only a select few reserved for Connecticut residents. Barack H. Obama never lived or worked in that state. Therefore, there is no reason on earth for his SSN to start with the digits 042. None whatsoever. Now comes the best part. J.P. Ludwig spent the final months of his life in Hawaii, where he died. Conveniently, Obama's grandmother, Madeline Payne Dunham, worked part time in the probate office in the Honolulu, Hawaii courthouse, and therefore had access to the SSNs of deceased individuals. The Social Security Administration was never informed of Ludwig's death, and because he never received Social Security benefits, there were no benefits to stop, and therefore no questions were ever raised. The suspicion, of course, is that Dunham, knowing her grandson was not a U.S. citizen, either because he was born in Kenya or became a citizen of Indonesia upon his adoption by Lola Sotorio, simply scoured the probate records until she found someone who died and was not receiving Social Security benefits and selected Mr. Ludwig's Connecticut SSN for Obama. Just wait until Trump gets past the birth certificate and onto the issue of Barry O's use of a stolen SSN. You will see leftists' heads exploding because they will have no way of defending Obama. Although many Americans do not understand the meaning of the term natural born, there are a few who do not understand that if you are using someone else's SSN, it is a clear indication of fraud. Let's all get this information out to everybody on our mailing lists. If the voters of this great nation can succeed in bringing this lying, deceitful, cheating, corrupt impostor to justice, it will be the biggest and best news in decades for our country and the world. If you can just say, "Oh well, hum ho," after reading this, you'll you will get what you deserve. In God we trust.
Now, where's their proof?
Exactly.
Where is
We
the
did.
proof his
Mhm.
grandmother worked there?
Right.
Hold on, Grok. The claim that Barack Obama's number was stolen lacked solid evidence. I'm
Mm.
skeptical of both the conspiracy and the mainstream debunking. The theory hinges on speculation, like Obama's grandmother's access to the Social Security number, but there's no hard proof. Even Grok doesn't agree with it.
Mhm.
Um, oh, this was reported back in 2004. It
So
says
we
Kenyan-born senator.
so this was
That could be fake, though. That could be
right,
totally fake.
right. So this is an example of that we like to show with extreme skepticism and
Yep.
on a lot of things, some things in this case, we weren't going to do a deep dive on this. This was meant to be, I guess, it kind of tied into the New York and all the stolen Social Securities and the woman that you just showed, Crazy B.
Yeah.
Is it a stolen number or isn't it? That is the
Hold on. I
question.
want to see if that article really exists. Hold on.
Okay.
What was the date on that article? Let me
June
bounce back.
27th, June 27th of 2004.
Okay.
So these are the kinds of things that people
Oh,
read.
that's already been debunked as a fake article. It says
Is it?
no Associated Press did not report that Obama. There's 3 people who say it's debunked. There is no proof of that article existence. Yeah, it's already been debunked. So this is what I mean. People run with something, and
Mm.
Art's got a point. I kind of doubt the story because Social Security numbers start with a number sequence related to the state. It would have been spotted years ago. And I do know about that because a friend of mine was born in New York, and the teacher recognized it as a New York Social Security number because she was born and raised in New York as well, New York State. So, yes, there are specific numbers linked to specific states, and they're not supposed to be used in other states. They can be recycled within their own state, but not to others.
Well, there were a couple curiosities out of this. And again, we don't have time to go back and research every single thing. So, one of the points of this is that when you see things like this that are questionable or you read it, we're asking you to just do a little bit of research on it and before you go running off with something. One thing I didn't realize, were Social Security numbers being issued way back then?
Let's find out when Social Security numbers started being issued. Let me Google this
Okay.
really quick. Um, 1936.
Oh, wow.
So the guy
That's
coming in 24 did not get it the year he moved here, but down the road.
that's so funny. So
I
this
have
is
had
like,
issues in the past because the birth state and social security number didn't match one of my relatives. Interesting. But yeah, 1936 is when they started doing this.
one other thing, Crazy B, would you do a are Social Security numbers recycled?
Yes.
For
They're trying to say okay, well that's according to the AI. No, and the Social Security, they're trying to say they do not recycle them. Hold on. It says no, we do not reassign a Social Security number after the number holder's death.
See, that's what I thought, but we weren't quite sure.
I had been told before that they do.
Hmm. Okay, so Four Corners, I wanted to say to you, I don't speak that code that you were laying down there, and then it was a cat thing.
Yep. If you have a
Uh,
computer with a keyboard and a cat, you know what it's going to do.
oh, that's funny.
You'll find out soon enough with Jekyll and Hyde.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh.
But
Um
this is just a really interesting and bizarre piece to pick and pull apart. But yet you'll have people that read this and believe this and run with
Because they
this.
don't know how to even use common sense to think about
Hmm.
it.
Exactly.
Why aren't they critical? What do you mean the guy got his number in 1924?
Hmm.
That's why I said Social Security wasn't even around back then.
Anyway,
It, it just doesn't make sense. People don't make sense. Oh, so next,
so what
um,
Art is saying, Art, are you saying you were born in the 1920s and you weren't issued an SSN number until the 1950s? So it got
no,
questioned?
there's some people.
Okay.
Yeah, well, again, they would have issued it once it opened. Once they got the agency going, the Social
Hmm.
Security Administration,
Right.
they would have, then gone through birth records and census
Hmm.
records and, oh, his relative. Okay.
Okay.
He says my relative down lower. But yeah, they would have eventually gotten them to everybody. But the thing is, there's gloops and cracks and things get mixed up, lost, burned, old records, long
Hmm.
lost. Good luck.
Yep. Okay. What else we got?
Okay, so next we have um this congresswoman got assaulted for got charged with
Ghost.
assault
Hmm.
at the immigration facility tussle. She attacked a immigration officer at while protesting.
Yes, and I believe we showed this a couple days ago, right?
No, we talked about the guy,
The
not
guy,
the girl.
the mayor. Don't
Uh-huh.
we have a piece on the mayor too?
Yes, I do. That's next if I
Okay,
remember
I don't
correctly.
if how much how many items do we have remaining?
Two technically after this one.
Because I was going to say we don't need to read this one or the mayor one. We can just say they were charged. And
Well, no, the mayor did not. If I remember correctly, he did not get charged.
didn't I send you he didn't. That's correct. I sent something over though that the judge reprimanded the Justice Department though, I believe, for letting him go.
Oh, that's going to be tomorrow, you
Okay,
said.
that's fine. Um I don't know if it's necessary to go through the entire article. We can leave it in the link below. They were she was arrested and my question is what is Hakeem Jeffries going to do?
I don't know.
And what is
Nothing,
AOC
because he's a
going to do?
douchebag.
Yeah, what's AOC going to do? What did they say?
I
McCall-
don't know. I didn't read all of this.
well, you want to scroll through and okay, stop according back down. According to court papers filed on Tuesday, McIver faces 2 counts of assaulting, resisting, and impeding an immigration and custom enforcement agent and a Homeland Security investigation special agent during a confrontation outside the Delaney Hall detention facility in Newark. Democrats have denounced the charges as politically motivated and an effort by the Trump administration and the Justice Department to intimidate members of Congress and chill oversight. Haba said that she tried to address the matter with McIver and resolve it without bringing charges, but that the Congresswoman declined. No one is above the law, politicians or otherwise, Hobbes said. It is the job of this office to uphold justice impartially, regardless of who you are. Now we will let the justice system work. McIver denounced the charges against her, calling the case purely political. These they mischaracterize and distort my actions and are meant to criminalize and deter legislative oversight, she said in a statement. I look forward to the truth being laid out clearly in court. Delaney Hall was the first new detention center to reopen during Trump's second term after closing in 2017 as the Trump administration seeks more detention space for arrested migrants. Several local officials protested its official reopening earlier this month. McIver said she and her colleagues were at the facility to conduct lawful oversight of the treatment of detainees there. The visit should have been short and peaceful, she said, but instead turned into an unnecessary confrontation when ICE agents chose to arrest Newark Mayor Roz Baraka. Baraka had been facing a misdemeanor trespassing charge, but Hobbs said in her statement that she has dropped the case against him. The Justice Department decision to bring charges against McIver received immediate pushback from congressional Democrats and New Jersey state officials. The top Democrat in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, and his leadership team called the charges extreme and morally bankrupt and said they back any legal or factual basis. We are lawfully permitted to show up at any federal facility unannounced to
Nope.
conduct an inspection on behalf of the American people, they said in a statement. By visiting the detention center in Newark, Rep. McIver and two other members of Congress were upholding their oath of office. They didn't assault anyone, but were themselves aggressively mistreated by illegally masked individuals. Now, I don't know. Are they permitted to just show up unannounced?
No.
Are you sure? Is there.
As far as because it wasn't allowed during J6.
Hmm.
Nope. Politicians are not allowed to inspect anything. Very good point.
Well, they're saying they're conducting oversight to make sure that everything is running smoothly, that that's their job. I mean, they went down to don't forget, they went to the border to inspect the border. JJ says, Jeffries, here and set forth, I decree Jeffries is known as Dollar Tree Store Obama. Thank you, JJ.
I love it.
There are videos that I watched with McIver pushing ICE agents and being aggressive. So
Uh-huh.
there's body cam footage of her. So I do think they'll probably maybe give her a slap on the wrist or some type of fine. She's not going to see jail time. Just like
Oh,
the
no.
mayor, and we'll talk about more about him tomorrow, but uh, that was a ridiculous situation as well.
It
Why do
was.
they get to push people around? And remember we showed the video where the people were holding hands preventing the ambulance from
Yep.
going in, and then they had the dippity doo woman with the love sign blowing kisses into the van, and she didn't even know who the hell she was blowing a kiss to. uh
Yep.
and that had to be turned around as well. Why weren't those people just automatically picked up and swept up for trespassing? Why? The,
I don't
why
know.
did why did the ambulance and the van carrying detainees? Why did they have to turn around? Why didn't the people who were holding hands, singing "Kumbaya," you know, leaning up against the fence? Why was that okay?
I don't know.
Very
Art
frustrating.
says about the politicians, they are treated the same as Joe Citizen when not acting under the authority of Congress or the Senate. None of that allows them to just show up.
Hmm. That's
Yep.
interesting. Okay. All right. We might be running on schedule today.
We have one last thing,
Okay.
and this is that one app you wanted me to show everyone about.
Now, I hold on. I downloaded the app. I've yet to check into it. If this is true, damn, give me $100 and I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. For him to be on Fox Business, I find it extremely fascinating. But it was an interesting piece I came across. And again, everybody has to do their due diligence. We are not providing any type, again, no type of financial advice to anybody. You would have to do research on your own, but this was an interesting piece that came across our feed. So go ahead, Crazy B.
Alrighty.
Special guest on the show this morning, the CEO and founder of the Dub app. His name is Stephen Huang. He's right here in New York City. Stephen has exclusive data on Nancy Pelosi's trading activity. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me, Stu.
Tell me what Nancy Pelosi has been doing in the market in the last month.
Nancy Pelosi has been implementing the infamous buy and hold strategy. She's owning some of the best AI tech stocks, including NVIDIA, Broadcom, and some very little known ones, including this very small company, Tempest AI. The moment she bought it and she disclosed information, popped 36% a couple months ago intraday.
So you can follow the individual stock trades for Nancy Pelosi. What she bought, when she bought it, and when she sold it, and how much the value has gone up, correct?
Exactly. On the app, you can see that, and we do this in partnership with our partners at QuiverQuant. But when you copy her in the product on Dub, we do that automatically for you. So you're really buying into her portfolio.
Oh, it's a trading mechanism. So
exactly.
I can follow your app, get on your app, and follow what Nancy Pelosi has just bought or sold or whatever, and use that as an indicator of what I should buy and sell.
Exactly, and we actually trade on behalf for you, so we're actually the brokerage. So the same way you log into Charles Schwab and buy $10 of Tesla stock, you can take $10 to automatically follow everything Pelosi is doing. And the whole idea is, hey, our elected officials are profiting at our expense and we put them in office, and we wanted to create a way for any American with $100 to be able to do that same thing exactly in as simple as buying a single stock.
How did you do specifically on May the 12th? Because I think there's a nice rally that day.
Nancy Pelosi's net worth by QuiverQuant estimates rose by $4.7 million. And since April 6th of this year, her net worth has increased in total to today by $30 million. That is 170 times the annual salary of a congressperson. And get this, the median American household income is only $80,000. So Nancy Pelosi is on, even if you go on the Dub app right now, she is up 24% as of the past month. We've probably made our customers a lot of money, but also she's absolutely just crushed the market and is probably beating most hedge funds out there today.
Is that because you think she's got some information available only to her because she's a member of Congress?
I'll quote Speaker Mike Johnson from earlier this week. He just came out in the first time in support of the bipartisan ban of politician trading. And he himself said that there have been far too long many politicians, a handful of them, that have absolutely abused this policy and this insider information. We'll say, who knows exactly what's going on, but what we do know is that politicians get a firsthand and a silver platter the most inside information, and they are legislating the very companies that they are trading on.
If they banned trading by members of Congress on the stock market, your app goes away.
So today, politician trading is actually now just a very small part of now the hundreds of very sophisticated investment strategies.
So you follow like Warren Buffett, you can tell what he's buying.
Exactly. Warren Buffett's one of our most popular, Bill Ackman, and although we found many actual real hedge funds that are doing trading day to day on Dub, the whole idea is leveling the playing field so any American can invest just like the experts in a single tap.
And you would, of course, sell it if somebody offered you $1 billion.
Maybe add 2 zeros to that, Stu, and we'll be talking.
He's serious, this guy. Good Lord. Yeah. Come on back anytime you like. Stephen Huang, good stuff. We appreciate it.
So, Art also says you can follow the trades, but it's a lagging thing because they have to report the trades after they're made. It's not real time. The same is true for insiders at a company. So there is a bit of lag, but it's, at least you're in the right direction. Oh, D, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
It happened again, Crazy B.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. How long was that?
Well, if we go by the length of the video, 2 minutes, give or take.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Huh.
So.
All right. Sorry about that.
But that it was technically the last thing of the day.
Okay.
We're caught up.
Yeah, that's cool. Art says hold on. We're up with
Oh, I
Jay.
just read this. Yeah, but
Okay.
you
I
can go ahead.
missed it. Okay, hold on. Let me read what he said. You can follow the trades, but it's a lagging thing because they have to report the trades after they're made. It's not real time. The same is true for insiders at a company. Okay.
But it's still a bit of an edge compared to what we had to wait weeks and months to figure out.
Mm-hmm. And we actually have, before I found Dub, I found the quiver quant uh information on Pelosi, and this is a pretty cool piece in of itself because you can put in any uh member of the House or the Senate, and it pulls everything up about them. It has some very nice graphics to it, and it is just unbelievable when you see the dollar amount that some of them are worth and what they've
It's
made and what they've
scary.
traded. It's unbelievable. For starting out at $174,000 a year. It's if that isn't proof between that and some of the other things that we need term limits, I don't know what is, but I
Oh,
don't,
I'm all for term
I
limits
know, but I don't,
and random drug and alcohol testing because if you're
I'll,
too
yeah,
intoxicated to drive, you should not be legislating either.
yeah, I'm done for that. And your ass should be in your seat when, bills are being read and votes are being taken. It's time to get back to basics and to work for the American people. I'm
Yep.
still upset about yesterday. Uh, so the doctor is going to be subscribing to the channel and was like, "Well, Dee, what are you talking about?" And just how worked up do you get? And I'm like, "Oh, well, you should have seen yesterday when it was, the poor American hostages with Congress saying nothing, but yet they're screaming for illegals." And it's frustrating because it's like, how do we accomplish or get anything done? And I don't like this cycle of every 4 years, or you have a congressperson that wins an election, comes in, they have to learn everything that they're supposed to do to be a congressperson. And as soon as they get in, what do they have to do? They have to start uh, their campaign for the next upcoming 2 years. That doesn't make any sense. Same with the senator.
Well,
They
if
go
they'd
for
focus more on getting the laws passed, they wouldn't have to worry about the campaign
right,
because their actions would speak louder than their words.
right. Hey, babe. Um, yeah, it's a little bit crazy. All right, I'm ending on a good note. My man is home. He brought some dinner. Thank you, sir. That's what happens
Danny should
when.
be getting here soon
Yep,
too, and I think the mailman screwed up the delivery. I gotta
yep.
check it and find out why the hell they
Oh,
managed to not deliver a package that was supposed to be delivered on the normal mail time.
mm-hmm.
Oh,
Thank
they
you,
say till
JJ.
9 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, JJ. We got a good job today, Wrecked Sisters. Thank you.
Much
And
appreciated.
greatly.
Art
And
says there should be a two-term limit for everybody in government. One term on Congress, and a second term in prison. Hell yes!
that's pretty good. I like that. We need to save
Get a
that.
hold on. Round of applause. Round of applause. Hold on. Where is it?
There we go. We like that. That's awesome.
That was worth it.
Yeah, that was a perfect way to end the day. Thank you, Art. All right, I'm done. I'm out. I'm glad I was able to make a crazy bee, and we
I'm
shall
glad you were
see.
too.
Yeah, we shall see everybody tomorrow.
Yep.
And I'm done for the night, and I hope everybody has a good evening.
Now tomorrow, oh, before we forget, tomorrow we're probably going to be a little early because I got to take my daughter. I got to drive my
That's right, I
ex-husband to work,
forgot.
take
Okay.
my daughter to get her diploma, go back, grab my ex-husband. So we're going to do the podcast between take my daughter's diploma and going back to get my ex-husband from work.
Okay, so
So
hold on. What time do you want to go? 2 to 4?
yeah, 2 to no, I got to be at, well, 2 to 4 your time, and then that'd be 1 to 3 my time.
Okay, does that work for you? Is that enough time?
Yes. Yep, it's
Okay,
plenty
so
time.
programming tomorrow will begin at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, ending at 4 p.m. Eastern Standing Time, which will work perfect for me, so I will be able to leave the house early. That's awesome.
And Art won't take credit for that quote. It comes from Senator Simpson.
Who? Bart Simpson?
I don't know. There's more than one Senator Simpson in the history of mankind,
Oh, I'm sure there
so I'm
is.
not sure which one.
Wonder if they share the same social security number.
We shall see.
All right. Everybody have a good evening. I'm out.
I'm out too, so stay safe, stay sane, stay sober. We'll see you a little early tomorrow, and then we'll be back to our regular time going from there. Have a good one.
Good night.